Hey cruisers, welcome to Steve and D. I'm Steve.
I'm Dee, and today we've got a lot to talk about. We are going to give our review on the Carnival Celebration, where we just recently returned from our 8-night ABC Island off that boat, and it was amazing.
Now we're no strangers to sailing. This is our 5th cruise with Carnival Celebration, and we've also spent a fair amount of time aboard Royal Caribbean ships, including Oasis class ships comparable to the Celebration, as well as MSC. So we are experienced.
Exactly. And in this particular review, we're going to break it down into 5 different categories. Food, obviously, entertainment, the cabin and accommodations, the activities, and the recreation, as well as, of course, service and crew.
Yep, and we'll be rating each category individually with what we thought the best, or what we thought was appropriate on a 1 through 5 scale, 5 being the highest. And stick with us to the end, because at the end we'll be giving our overall Carnival Celebration review of what we rank the ship as a whole.
Especially compared to other Carnival boats we've been on.
Exactly. All right, so let's drive in, classic cruise style, with a shot in some of our souvenir glasses we got on the trip.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers. Got it back.
All right, category 1, the food.
Oh yes. Now we ate at all the included options, so no specialty dining for us, but there were 8 places that we ate. So obviously you've got the main dining room and the buffet, which we frequented quite often, and then some other options were Guy's Burger, the Pig and Anchor, which is also a Guy's Fieri brand, and then Big Chicken, Blue Iguana, and then also Shebang and Cucino del Capitano, which are usually on Carnival ships, are usually specialty dining, and on Celebration you get it for free the first time, and then it's $8 after that. So that was kind of a special treat for us that we weren't expecting. So main dining, number 1.
Wow, main dining. Yes, yes. In the past, on some other Carnival ships, I've actually been maybe a little bit disappointed in the main dining room, but on Celebration, the main dining room,
I would actually say it was my favorite dining.
Yeah. And I think we ate in the main dining room 4 nights.
Almost every, well, maybe 5 nights.
Maybe
I feel
5.
like it was most nights we did eat there, and there was a couple nights that we didn't.
Yes. If there's one thing I would say, it's that the options change every night in the main dining room.
Right.
And I did feel like sometimes, especially because I'm huge on finding a nice piece of protein for my meal.
True.
There wasn't a whole lot of options protein-wise, but the one that was available, not one, there was at least 2 to 3 proteins to choose from each night, but I don't like fish, I don't like lamb, and so usually for me it was the steak or chicken type of thing, and man, they knocked it out of the park. There was a 12-hour braised short rib.
So good. And then the, what was that one? Damn it.
The beef
Wellington.
Oh my gosh.
I've never had anything like that before. It was definitely a top favorite for me.
Fire.
Yeah, those were my favorite. I think those were my 2 favorite meals on the whole 8 nights that we were there.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. And then I was going to say with the dining, what's nice about it, if you're a little particular about protein like we are, we would sometimes forgo the appetizer. And like, for example, one day I got one of the main courses was like a salmon salad, but it didn't have a lot of salmon in it. So I also got another main course, which was the chicken, instead of an appetizer main course. So that was kind of nice. You can kind of mix it and match it. So there were ways to sneak in more protein, I think.
I think so too. And then out of all the main dining rooms we've been on, Royal Caribbean, the other Carnival ships,
That's
MSC,
saying a lot, yes.
That's saying a lot. This might be controversial.
No, but I completely agree. I think the food was top notch, and it was definitely my favorite out of 10 cruises that we've been on so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Somewhere in there.
At least maybe 11.
Royal has been, gotta be honest, our top favorite.
Usually.
Has been, has been setting the bar, we'll say, for food and entertainment and all that. And in this case, I definitely feel like Carnival Celebration gave it a run for its money.
That's true. All right.
For sure.
How about the buffet?
Buffet. Actually, I really enjoy the buffet. The one thing that I would complain about the buffet is that it's always packed, you know, and you're kind of like corralled through. But because when I went to the buffet, I pretty much always got the salad bar, and I feel like that was
There was nobody at the salad bar.
frequented location, and so I didn't really have trouble getting there. Sometimes I would have trouble getting protein for my, I wouldn't say trouble, but it was a little bit more of a wait to get my proteins for my salad, but I could get my salad instantly. I would say too, one of my favorite days was when we went to Guy's Fieri, which we'll talk about as far as the options, but I went to the salad bar and then I threw my burger without a bun on that salad.
That was great.
And that was one of my favorite days, probably.
Yeah, I think for me the buffet was pretty good. I tended to not go for the salad bar, so I got stuck waiting in some of those longer buffet lines. There is usually, how they have it set up, it was a little more congested than some of the more open buffets that we're used to.
And there was some, like, you had to walk through the buffet to get to certain pools or bars, and I feel like that really congested it. People that didn't even want to be in the buffet had to walk through it. It was just the way of the traffic, and I do feel like that was a little bit of a
bummer.
A little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. And then as far as the food goes, I thought the food was amazing.
Yeah.
There was a little scarce on, again, protein options. There would be like maybe an Indian dish that was like a chicken dish, or a barbecue dish that was a barbecue chicken or pork or something like that. And I tended to find that whatever like the main theme of the buffet was that day, there was kind of like that one main protein option. Of course, they have like the cutlery. No, not the cutlery.
Yeah, well,
where they're like slicing
the
meat.
butcher's block.
The butcher's block.
Yeah, but not always my favorite meat on those ones.
Those tended to be a little fattier.
They were definitely a little bit fattier. Yeah, for sure. And also probably one of the longest lines, I feel like, to get that, like, just choice meat or whatever.
True. That's true. All right, moving on.
All right, so next would be Guy's Burger.
Okay.
Which, now, we've been on a lot of Carnival boats, and we've never really frequented Guy's Burger because the line is just always insane.
It's insane.
We don't wait in lines. We're very impatient. It's got to be minimal for the line in order for us to partake. And this time we got it on a sea day. No, excuse me.
Day.
It was a port day. So everybody was off the boat. I believe in Aruba.
We got back on the boat early.
We got back on the boat early, and there was no line. We got there right when it opened. The line was minimal, I should say. And it was
we walked right
fantastic.
up. Yes.
Yeah. I think we ate there twice. Your first time you doubled down.
Yeah, I doubled back for a second burger because they were just so delicious.
I love their condiment bar too.
The Fixins bar at Guys.
Yes.
I mean, they have everything you could want for a burger and then some.
For sure.
There's pretty, like, I think there's like 3 or 4 basic options.
Oh, yeah, as far as the
menu
burger
goes. Like,
do
you want a burger? Do you want a cheeseburger?
Right.
And then there's 2, like, ones that come with, like, some
bacon
sort of bacon or a specialty sauce.
Right.
But then for the most part, the extra condiments, your ketchup, your mayo, your pickles, your peppered jalapeno or pickled jalapenos, and probably 10 other items.
Oh my God,
sauce,
so good. The sauteed
Island.
onions.
Oh yeah, so good.
Yes. So I
love
really
that
enjoyed that.
customizability.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't have to gum up the ordering situation to make it yours. You get whatever the basic item is off the menu, and then you go to the customization bar and you make it your own there.
That's
so
great.
I feel like it made it go a lot faster once we went through it, for sure.
For sure.
Definitely. Guys was one of the top notch for me. Now, another Guys option was the Pig and Anchor, and I feel like we discovered it really late in the cruise. We thought it was a specialty dining, didn't realize it was included.
That's true.
And when it comes to, like, obviously we're big on protein, and
yeah, they have plenty of protein.
That was such a good option to be able to pick. I think you got 3 proteins.
Yeah, that was kind of what was a little bit
sides.
unique about that is they just bring you like a
little menu.
Like a little menu,
Yeah.
but it's a card, and it just kind of walks you through the whole thing. Like pick 3 items from the meats, and you just check off your meats. Pick 2 sides.
And I doubled down on a couple things instead of picking. I didn't necessarily want. I can't remember what it was, but I doubled down on my chicken. I think you doubled down on your brisket a couple
the
times.
Ribs, and the sausage.
Right. Oh yeah.
The first
the
time.
sausage. Yeah.
Cheddar jalapeno sausage. Man, that was pretty good.
Heartburn central, but still worth it. Bring your heartburn pills on your cruise. That's what I do now. Okay, so that was really good. That was one of our top spots. But again, we discovered it late, so I think we tried it twice.
I think we did.
In fact, one of the nights that we foregoed the main dining was that we went to the barbecue instead, which was great. Okay, so big chicken. I had a bite of your chicken, but I can't speak to it as much, and you had just the breakfast. So what was your take on Shacks?
So on Big Chicken, I only went for the breakfast, and as far as I could tell, the only option, it came on a biscuit. I'm not huge on biscuits, so I kind of only had the chicken as well. I will say, though, that the flavoring was great. It was a breaded, crispy chicken, and I kind of walked up right as they were pulling some fresh chicken right from the fryer. So it was one of the hottest,
it was the
freshest items that we had.
Definitely.
It was so hot I had to like give it a minute. Like, hey, let that baby rest because it's fresh out of the fryer. I'm not. I burn my lips all the time.
All the time. That's true. But I will say, flavor-wise, that was one of the best ones. I think it did mess with you because we don't eat a lot of fried food these days. So it was one that you got to kind of have the stomach for it. Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't have more than one bite. It would have been easy to because it was absolutely delicious, but it definitely, that deep fried will get you if you're not used to that, for sure. All right, so next is Blue Iguana. We only had it once, and it was for breakfast.
And it's for breakfast. And a lot of people don't know that Blue Iguana is open for breakfast. It's open, I think, let's just say noon to 3 or something like that.
For the normal.
On the Lido deck
5
near
till
the
5.
pool.
Yeah.
For tacos and burritos.
Right.
But it is also open for breakfast in the morning for a little span of 2-3 hours, something like this.
In fact, we got it on our debarkation day.
We did.
And that's a good option for debarkation because that's probably one of the busiest buffet days.
Because the buffet was crazy. That's why I wound up heading back to Blue Iguana.
Right.
And there was rarely a small line when I got there.
But they're so quick.
They're so quick,
yeah. And they also have a good fixin' bar.
I got 2 burritos, sausage or bacon were the main protein choices. Another spot where they have a fixins bar, it's a salsa bar.
Salsa bar, sour cream,
but there's
salsa
a lot of
and all
stuff in
that.
the salsa bar too, including pickled jalapenos, pickled onions,
even lettuce. So if you wanted to build like maybe a taco salad, since that's not like on the menu, you could easily do that with that fixins bar for sure.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, now as far as the quasi specialty dining, let's do Shebang first. Now Shebang is interesting because it's not fusion, but it offers both Mexican and Chinese separate menus. You have to order those separately, but we stuck to the Chinese options.
We did.
And I will say I think it was sweet and sour shrimp was so good.
It was so good.
So good. And we also we had to go a little bit later if you have the main dining.
And an early time dining.
Right, and an early time. And we always try to do the early because the shows and all that stuff is usually in the 7 p.m. and later range. So we try to go to dinner at 5:30 if we can manage it. And if you have that early dining, they say on the app that you have to wait until 8 p.m. to even check into the specialty dinings, these options. But we luckily, we were having trouble with our app, so we went into the restaurant to try to make the reservation. And when we went in, they actually told us, no, just come in and we'll find a seat for you. So we were able to do that far before the 8 p.m. mark. I think it was still like 7.
We don't like eating at 8. That's too late for us.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I got the Kung Pao chicken.
You did,
or
and it was
like that.
it was mild. I wouldn't say it was spicy. I think it showed on the menu that it was pretty spicy, and we laughed at that.
And then I think I got the duck rolls for appetizer, and I think you got the lettuce wrapped something.
Yeah, we should probably know these items before we're trying to.
Anyway, as far as Chinese goes, I do love Chinese food. It's one of my top favorite cuisines.
And we don't get it often.
And I don't get it often.
Sure.
I was a little disappointed by the variety of the menu. The cuisine at Shebang was delicious. If I had a tiny little gripe, it's that there wasn't a lot of options.
Right.
Some of my favorite Chinese-based dishes weren't on the list. For example, like sweet and sour pork wasn't available. I really love crab and cream cheese lagoons. One of my ultimate favorite Chinese cuisines.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to those. I was excited to go to Chinese because I was looking forward to those specifically.
And it's a staple in most restaurants.
It is kind of a staple, at least for me.
I mean, it's a staple in restaurants. Like I've never been to a Chinese restaurant that didn't have
crab
ragoons. Yeah, that's not a thing.
And then the only other tiny gripe I would have, it didn't necessarily make that big of an impact because there's plenty of food to eat around the ship, but the portions were quite small.
Yeah.
My egg rolls were about this big, or my duck rolls.
Little 2-biter.
And there was only 2 of them, you know, and I wanted to share with her, and so it's like one each. And I think it was the same for the lettuce wraps that came with a tray of only 3. We did get some photos of those, and those are their original portions. The plates looks like we already dug into them. We did not. That's what they came with.
I tend to like that, though. I feel like
you
I
don't
don't
get
want to
overly
be
full.
stuffed, and there's plenty, again, like you said, there's plenty of food options. So
That's
if we
true.
wanted something else, we could go out. And then if you're ordering things that you wouldn't typically order, then maybe it's nice that it's a smaller option and it allows you to try it and you're not wasting as much food. Lord knows we're not, lax for options.
And also, to be fair, they don't, on that first visit, they don't charge you. It's $8 for your second visit, but on the first visit, you don't charge you.
is
And I'm
still
sure
nothing.
they would have allowed us to order more than one of a particular appetizer.
If we wanted to, or if you wanted to skip the appetizer and get a couple of entrees instead, for sure.
For sure.
For sure,
Okay.
definitely. Okay, so Cucino del Capitano. And we had this on a sea day for lunch.
For lunch. We went to the lunch menu.
Yes. What's your take?
Yep. We've been off pastas for a little while.
Yeah.
So,
I think we took a nap immediately.
But it was pretty good. I think it was good. It was a little, again, light on protein. I got
Very
a pasta
true.
with, I think I got a chicken
You got chicken,
Alfredo.
I got shrimp Alfredo, yeah.
And it was just a little scarce on chicken for me. Like,
Sure.
I would have liked to see a whole breast sliced up and laid over the top of my pasta.
Amen.
And instead it seemed like it was tossed in.
Yeah,
And there was
minimal.
maybe, an ounce or two of chicken in my entire bowl of pasta. So.
Yes. And then on mine, I got the shrimp Alfredo, and I got garlic shrimp Alfredo, and I love me some garlic. So for me to tell you that it was too much garlic,
That's true.
it's saying something. It was so pungent and overpowering that it did. I ate it. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was a lot of garlic. I felt like it overpowered the dish quite a bit. I didn't think it was necessary for it to be that strong.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What did you think of the bruschetta? You think about bruschetta and you think about a specific, especially even Italian, you
Sure.
picture a certain, almost a salsa. It's not salsa, but the balsamic vinaigrette,
and
the
everything.
tomato sliced up, a little bit of cheese on it.
Yeah, and it was different than
This
that.
was eggplant.
Right.
It was an eggplant bruschetta, which was different, but I thought it was
I
interesting.
enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was definitely not what you expect when you read bruschetta. If you,
Fair enough.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. All right, cool. So that was category number one, which
Category
was
number
food.
one, we got to rate it.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
What
overall,
did you think, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, what would you give the food on
Overall
the celebration? Overall, on a count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
yeah, I'm going 5.
Yeah, it really was.
And I think maybe because we've done carnival ships in the past, and I have often been disappointed. And even despite our very few gripes that we had on this one, I was not disappointed. It was really good. Oh, and we didn't even mention the deli. The Deco Deli. I mean, we had
Deli.
pizza too. I was a little disappointed in the pizza.
I wasn't.
But Deco Deli
Oh, yeah, the
was
sandwiches, like-
so good.
10 sandwiches.
Especially if you're getting something late, maybe you're trying to soak up some of the alcohol. I forgot about Deco Deli.
Dude,
I would give
yes.
Deco Deli
Good
a
call.
5 on its own. For
On its
sure.
own, it's a 5, yeah, for sure. And usually, like, the pizza's right there. So the line at Deco Deli, it had to compete with pizza. Everyone was in line for
Everybody wanted pizza.
Deco Deli, you could wait like 2 to 5 minutes and get your sandwich.
So much quicker.
The pizza line was way
Around
past
the corner,
deli.
yeah.
For sure. That's a top hit.
Man, I can't believe
Don't
there's
miss
so
that.
many food options that we legitimately forgot about Deco Deli, which was one of my favorite
know,
spots.
that's true.
That's so funny.
All
All
right.
right, so
Category 2.
number 2.
Entertainment.
Entertainment. Yes, that's what we're all here for, right? So obviously, we had 2 main areas where they did shows. The Grand Spectrum is what you picture for a legit theater. And in there we saw the Love and Marriage show,
Yep.
Amor Cubano,
Yep.
and then we saw a magic show. There were a couple shows in there that we missed. Maybe we got a little too crunk during the day and we went to sleep a little earlier than expected, but the theater shows were fantastic. And then the other spot that we had shows, which I think were maybe even better, was the
Center stage.
Center stage.
Oh, yeah.
That's the spot, if you've ever seen a tour of the celebration, big windows in the background, kind of in the center of the boat, and they do lots of shows there. I think obviously the one that comes to mind is the Most Magnificent Circus.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best shows at sea.
My absolute
that's a big statement.
Yeah, and again, Royal has usually been our tops because you get Broadway level shows on Royal, and this magnificent circus was like nothing I've ever seen before.
Oh my goodness.
And we waited, this was me, not him, he didn't want to wait this long, but we went 2 hours early because I wanted a certain spot which got a good view for our camera, and we sat up, we got Deco Deli and brought it there. That was the other night that we skipped the dinner, and I will say it was worth it in my opinion. We hid some ducks, we did some things, but
definitely
I think worth it.
That show, one of the drawbacks that we've seen some other complaints about is that while there is a lot of seating for that center stage theater area, a lot of the seating is obscured.
Yeah, obstructed.
By either the floor above it, or something like that.
You got people doing aerobatics and all this kind of stuff.
Aerobatics. Feels right.
We'll say
acrobatics in the air, danglers, and actually one of them didn't even have a safety harness on.
She was amazing.
Yeah,
no safety harness,
it.
and everybody else was strapped in, and she was just hanging for dear life, trusting anybody she was with, and she was my favorite for sure.
Yeah, but overall with the lighting effects, I think there was some actual pyrotechnics. Those could have just been background effects. I'm not sure.
No, I feel like there was at the very end. There was some actual pyrotechnics.
And then the music, and then all the colors. It was just full immersion.
Yes.
Such a great show.
Yeah, favorite show, bar none. The other show we saw was one towards the end of the cruise, which was We Are One.
Right, in that area.
And it was, we were right on the floor for it, which was kind of immersive and not usually, we didn't even have to wait that early for that show when we got those seatings. But I would say that show was pretty good, but to be honest, it's not even coming to my memory as much, like the specifics.
Sure.
So I would definitely say that the Magnificent Circus was the absolute best. And of course, they do tons of just random bands and entertainment like that in that Grand Spectrum, not Grand Spectrum, the center stage. And we also, our favorite bar was right there next to the center stage. And ironically, even when there were shows going on, we never had trouble getting a drink at that bar.
That's true.
Which is saying something, I think, for sure.
The only thing I remember about the We Are One show is that I think it was towards the end of the show, they brought out maybe 50 flags from all these different countries and walked them across
everybody
the stage.
That was on the boat.
And everybody applauded every flag. It was pretty cool.
Very patriotic, even, overall, worldly patriotic.
And then those shows were all great, but our top favorite form of entertainment on a cruise ship is
always comedy.
The comedy club.
And most cruises that we've been on, they usually have like 1 or 2 nights that you get comedy, and on this boat, 8 nights, every single night there was comedy. We had 2 different comedians at the very beginning, which were fantastic, and then when we boarded in
Aruba?
I think it was Aruba. No, it was Bonaire. When we got to Bonaire, they had flown in 3 new comedians. So we saw 5 different comedians in the span of this 8 days. And then we typically gear towards the adults only. We like those R-rated or whatever shows. But we did see a couple of PG shows, which were not bad. Definitely
they weren't bad, yeah.
They weren't bad. They were still comedy. You got a couple drinks in your system. They're still fun. But I definitely still would prefer the adults ones.
Let's not cater our humor to the kids. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, another one of our favorites, and actually I feel like it's only on Carnival boats. I don't even think Royal has a piano bar.
I think they have maybe a few nights, but I don't think it's as interactive. It's not that sing along with me.
Well, that's a piano bar. I think they do. Right. They do have that if they have it. But I remember on multiple Carnival boats having that piano bar vibe, but I don't remember it on Royal.
Yep. So for Carnival Celebration, the piano bar is called Piano Bar 88.
Yes.
And we were lucky enough to have our pianist for the entire sailing be
every night, that guy, Robbie.
Robbie, yeah.
Every night, 8 nights, he had no breaks. Everybody else had breaks. They had to bring in 5 comedians to do 8 nights, but Robbie was there every night until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And we were really lucky because this was his last cruise, and I think he had been with the company for like 20 plus years.
Buddy, welcome to Piano Bar. Anyone get off the ship today? I'm just looking around the room for anyone looking a little bit wet.
So he was just a master at entertainment and involving the crowd, and it's definitely always been one of our favorite spots when we can find him, and
For sure.
I enjoyed that very much.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, is that a wrap on entertainment?
Well, there was one more show. Remember in Latitude's Bar?
Oh, sure.
The windows. They do this like
window
kind
show.
of
Yes, that was pretty
visual
cool.
show. It was like a time travel show. And I believe our cruise director was involved in that one as well. What was his name? Leon. Leon was his name, and he was fantastic. We'll get to him later. But it was kind of also kind of interactive and involved so many different aspects of time travel and seeing a cruise ship traveling through space, and it was cute.
It was cute.
Yeah, it traveled back in time into the future, and it was different. If you're hanging out at one of the bars and you get that view of those windows, it's definitely worth a view.
For sure.
Yes. I think that wrapped it up for entertainment.
Yeah, it's time to rate entertainment.
Okay.
I got my choice.
Okay.
Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, I'm a little tougher.
You're a little tougher.
Well, I loved the comedians. They were absolutely fantastic. But when it came to the shows, the couple that we saw were still great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a Broadway girl. So if I can go on Royal Caribbean and I got to see Cats and I got to see Mamma Mia, and it felt like that real Broadway style, and I feel like it still sets them apart a little bit from carnivals.
Fair enough. And for me, honestly, I think it really helped that Magnificent Circus was one of the best shows I've ever seen at sea.
True.
That
Definitely.
show almost
It was
carried
the
the
best
boat,
show.
but then when you top it off with 5 different comedians,
True.
the piano bar laughs and fun,
True.
and then a couple of the other shows were minus, and we did miss like Color My World. That was a pretty popular show that we missed. I guess that's a returning show that plays on a lot of their boats, while some of the other shows are brand new, specific to the
There was like a
celebration.
Celestial Strings one too that we caught some sideways stuff, and I love violins, so I was sad that we missed that one, but that was another one that was probably pretty cool. But I still, despite the comedians and that one Magnificent Circus, like that made this show so great, or this boat so great. Don't get me wrong. But I would still put Royal just slightly above. But Carnival's coming for you, Royal, so be aware.
That's true.
All right.
Tough contender.
All right, so our next category is our cabin and our accommodations. Okay, section 3, right?
Category 3. We got an interior room, which I think about half of our showings have been interior.
Yeah, we'd love to do a balcony if we can swing it. Oh, that's the lifestyle right there.
For an 8-night sailing, it was quite a bit more.
Big difference, but we didn't just get any inside cabin.
True.
You found, a
Cloud9 spa interior.
Yes, so we got access to those thermal suites.
Yes, the
And
thermal
that was
suites
pretty
were great.
dope.
I liked having that option. There was like a kind of feeling of exclusivity.
True.
We got to go somewhere that not everyone got to go without paying.
True. It was, especially at the beginning of the cruise, a lot busier than I would have liked.
For sure.
You feel like if it's that exclusivity and all this, that but people would just be, and it says like everywhere, like be quiet, and everybody's just in there partying basically in the hot tub, and I felt like that diminished my experience just a little bit from that, so I didn't go as often as you did.
Yeah.
You found some magic moments though.
I would
You
definitely
found some
say don't
quiet
go on the
times.
first night. Like if you have a Cloud9,
Do not.
or especially if you're going to pay for access to the spas
that's
and
an
amenities,
option. Yeah.
Wait a little deeper into your sailing,
100.
so that those that have it included have kind of already experienced it, and maybe the experience is kind of waning for them. And
Yeah,
it's
the
not as
newness is
important.
worn off. Yeah.
I did say that the first day I kind of like walked in and then I was like,
So
it was cool.
busy.
I wanted to get some footage. There was like way too many people to record. I wanted to experience the sauna and the steam room. They had these heated loungers. Every heated lounger the first day had a towel on it, even though there was no person around to be seen. There's a small little private, I don't know if it's called a hot tub. It's more like a whirlpool.
Right. A little bit bigger than a hot tub, but that thing was like packed. packed all the time.
Packed.
And I will say, and I don't frequent the hot tubs very often because of the chemicals. I feel like they overdouse it, and that's probably a good thing. I would
True.
rather have more chemicals than bacteria and all that good stuff. But I got in there one time, and I was just like, nope, out. Couldn't do
Yeah.
it. Couldn't do it. It was too much.
Yeah, I think overall I'd say it's worth it, especially if you like to do sauna and steam room experiences.
True, but if you don't upgrade to the Cloud9, just it's weird on this boat. Usually the locker rooms for the gym are on the same level. They're like connected to the actual gym. But in this case, they were downstairs where the Cloud9 spa was, but anybody could actually get to it. You didn't have to have a special key card to get into it or anything. But you could go in, you could use the showers down there, which we definitely did because they're much bigger, much
Quite a bit
roomier.
larger.
Yes. And in there is a sauna. Now, one thing to know about the sauna, because you go through your locker room, as I saw a couple of females who assumed it was just for females because you literally go through your locker room to get to it. And it's actually unisex, so everybody joins in together. I saw a couple girls who came in towels and were mortified because they didn't realize that men would be in there. So keep that in mind, but that is included. You can absolutely use that without having the Cloud9.
For sure. And then as far as our actual interior cabin goes, no complaints. This is a fairly new ship.
No.
So it was pretty clean.
Yeah.
We did have one large red wine stain on our carpet.
Let's hope it was red wine.
Let's hope so. But plenty of storage, plenty of closet space.
Yeah.
There was a side-by-side closet like a his and her, so we each had our own separate space to keep our stuff. Of course, the regular storage under the bed, the desk.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
For what you expect from an interior.
Ever been in an interior. Now, bathrooms are always
A little
tiny,
cramped.
so I would say probably a solid 80% of the time we both actually showered in the gym showers. Yep. Way more space. You got lockers right there. You just it's way quieter. It was much more comfortable, in my opinion, to take my little bag down there and shower and get ready for my day down there.
For sure.
And a little hack for you as well.
All right, cabins and accommodations. Oh wait,
Check.
before we go on,
yeah.
we do want to talk about the noise level.
Yeah, actually, we were right in the middle of the ship, and I felt like dead to the world. Maybe it was the amount of spirits I took in, but
Sure.
I know at least one other time on a different ship, we were near the anchor, and that definitely put a damper on my sleep, and I'm a very light sleeper. In fact, I bring earplugs on all of the cruises. I didn't have to bust those out at all. I felt like it was pretty quiet. We were right next to an elevator too, and it was not an issue for me.
I had a different experience.
Oh, didn't even know it.
For me, I felt like we were right above like some sort of turbine that was shooting water all the time. And what it turns out to be was that because the plumbing system on cruise ships are vacuum based, every time someone flushed their toilet in any cabin around me, I just heard it.
That's true. That's true.
And it was all night long. Like people were shitting at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah.
They just
they
wouldn't
ate
stop
all day
shitting.
long. Yeah, this is my complaint on a normal basis, so welcome to my world.
All right, that was my only thing about the noise, though. I think in general,
I remember you saying
I didn't hear any partying.
it didn't even register for me.
It got me up several times in the
That's so
early morning
funny.
when I would have preferred
That's
to
hilarious.
continue sleeping, and I was like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Nice.
especially in the morning when everyone starts waking up. It's even worse.
Yeah.
And then right before bed, which for some people is not till 1, 2 a.m.
True.
And for us, we're not super late at night owls.
We
so
tried.
We tried. We tended to be in bed by
suck.
midnight at the latest.
Yeah, that
So,
was running good.
That little stream of people returning to their cabins and flushing their toilets.
It's so funny that it got you, and I just slept
I
through
know.
it. It did not bother me at all.
And to be fair, I don't think there's anything that can be done about that.
No. Well, earplugs. I could have given
Earplugs.
you some of my earplugs.
Fair enough.
I think the first time you complained about it was on debarkation day.
Yeah, because I didn't
That was
want
the
to
first time you said
highlight it for your
Yeah.
subconscious to
Earplugs.
focus on.
That's why I bring those bitches.
All right, you ready to rate category number 3?
All right, category number 3, the
Category number 3,
cabin and accommodations for an inside cabin.
Yep, 1, 2, 3.
What'd you got?
Oh.
4. Well,
Okay.
yeah, the toilet
And then
situation.
it's that one tiny little gripe, but when you're on your cruise
It
and
makes
you're
a
partying,
difference.
sleep is important, and that was the one
Touche.
thing that really like.
Touche.
But it's still good.
Yes.
4 out of 5 is pretty good.
Pretty good. I'm trying to be somewhat selective too. I don't want everything to be a 5 because obviously this
Yeah.
was like my favorite cruise that we've been on.
For
but
sure, the longest.
oh yeah, that makes a big difference.
So we got to be somewhere critical.
Yeah,
We're not
trying.
5 sluts or anything. So that's great. I think it's
All
good
right,
so far.
good.
All right.
All right, section 4.
Activities and recreation.
All right, all right. I actually don't feel like we partook in too many of these. Did you even ride the water slides? That's always a
didn't
big one for
ride
you.
'em, but I will say that that's one of the things that's really cool is that the splash pad for the kids is quite large. It was
yeah.
extensive.
Oh yeah.
So for family traveling, that's great. There was, I think, 3 water slides, if I'm
I
not
think so.
mistaken.
That feels right.
Yeah. Which from other Carnival ships, I'm used to like 2 in general. I
Right,
think as
right.
far as I can
Feels
remember. So that part was good.
Yeah.
But then to top it off, not only was it the splash pad with the family zone and the extra water slides, but they also had the ultimate playground, which this was all part of.
Yes.
And the ultimate playground had
the ropes course.
Sweet, super sweet ropes course.
Oh, the ropes course was probably
So
one of my
good.
favorite things. We got really lucky. We went on a port day, and Aruba was great, don't get me wrong, but we came back pretty early, and when we came back, there was no line. We thought it was closed. We went up the stairs to see
We're
if
like,
they were
"There's
open.
nobody here. They're not open."
Because we thought they were closed, and they let us go around a couple times. The crew even recorded it for us, which was so above and beyond and fantastic. And this guy's afraid of heights, so it was definitely something that, you know, had to overcome a little bit. But that was one of my favorite
Yeah,
things.
I definitely
on this
conquered
boat.
some fears on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to do a zip line. We've sailed on multiple Oasis class ships where they have like
Right.
a little zip line
Over the Central Park?
Over the
Yeah,
Central Park
never
or
did
whatever.
it.
I've never done it. I think, does it cost on Royal to do that?
I don't honestly know.
I feel like it was like $10 or something.
Maybe.
This isn't about Royal. It's free on Celebration. The ropes course is included as part of your fare.
So much fun.
There's typically for each obstacle an easier and a harder version.
Yes.
I think it was something that would be suitable for kids.
Oh yeah,
Probab-
because you could choose different
Yeah.
options, different routes, and they were easier or harder. In fact, the one person that was on it with us was a kid, probably 12,
Yeah.
15 years, 13 years old. I'm
I
terrible
will
at
say
judging.
though,
He
definitely
did great.
hit it on a port day. 'Cause
Oh,
when
don't do it on a sea day.
It was so fun. We decided
wanted
to
to go
double back on a sea day, one of our final sea days.
It was not
and
an
it was
option.
it was like a theme park style line where it's up and down through the ropes.
And again, we are
Quite
not very
busy.
patient people, so
Not
we
at
did
all.
not wait. I'm glad we got to go around a couple times when we did it that day because it definitely made it worth it for me.
And then the two other things that we didn't actually experience, but we'll touch on them just because they were pretty cool, was the mini golf course.
Yes, yes.
Pretty sweet. I feel like
Yes.
as far as ship mini golf courses go,
It was beautiful
that one was
course.
sweet. Yeah,
For
just, like,
sure.
super cool. It was kind of like water and sand theme. There was blue carpet or whatever around like the holes, and then the holes were sand colored. So the obstacles they looked pretty sweet. I
They
wish
were
we
pretty
would have had
cool.
an
I
opportunity
know.
to play mini
But
golf.
again, we tried to do it on sea days.
True.
Don't do it on sea days.
do it
Like
on sea
this
days.
would be perfect if it was an agenda that went to like Nassau, because
Somewhere we didn't want to get off.
we're not getting off on Nassau, and then you could really stay on and enjoy that. But we got off on every day, so we weren't smart enough to try to go do it on a
Port day.
non-sea day. Yeah, for sure. And,
then
it was
the
just
other
so
thing
crowded.
I wanted to touch on, which was pretty expansive, probably one of the largest, most crazy ones I've ever seen on board a boat, was the arcade.
Oh,
Yeah.
the arcade was
The
really
arcade
cool.
was just freaking massive, man. There were
It
some
was pretty
simulated
quiet, too,
rides.
yeah.
Yeah, some pretty dead.
For Carnival, it was definitely a bigger option than I've seen. I
Definitely,
think.
yeah.
Now, I want to actually come back to 2 different things on the pools. First of all, again, because I don't care for the chemicals or being like, you know, people soup and body to body with people. So I do not typically swim in pools. But we found one magic day where they happened to drain the pool
that was cool.
during the day. And then, so at night we knew it was fresh water, and it just happened to be the quietest night. And we swam that night, and
We
we
did.
have never swam?
10 or 11 sailings, and we've never
Never,
gone
no.
into the pool on a boat
Yeah.
before.
So that was a favorite thing.
Yeah, that was a magic
but
night.
Typically, I love the Serenity pools, the adults only areas, but I will complain about the location of this one.
Yeah, it was so windy.
It was so windy. It seems like they tried to block it off with like some quasi walls and stuff like that, but I just was blown away with how much wind there was back there,
So
and
much
it would have made
crosswind.
it.
It's in the aft of the boat. The bar at Serenity.
You had to
which the
like
name
weigh
is
down your
escaping me. Yeah,
tickets.
when they would pass you your receipt to sign,
would just fly
They would
away.
put a roll of receipt paper
to weigh it
on
down.
top of it.
Yeah.
A couple times when we ordered a drink in a disposable can or something, you know, you want to return it to the bar to be nice, and it would just start blowing off.
I had to chase one down the deck a little bit to,
Yeah, that
to
was
grab
ridiculous.
it.
And again, I don't know what can be done about that.
Nothing.
That's just like
It's
kind of
just
the nature of its location.
Yeah, but usually we would definitely hang out in Serenity a lot more, and I think that this one, maybe it was just the particular season of the cruise, I don't know, but we definitely did not hang out there at all. We never got in that water. I think we sat on loungers a couple times when we first got our drinks, and that was it. We didn't swim there at all, even though it was like a quiet pool, but I think that had to do more with the fact that it was so windy.
So windy, yeah. I mean, so
sure.
let us know in the comments. Have you rode Celebration?
Yeah, what do you think of that
Did
location?
you try Serenity? What was it like for you? Was it similar to like this breeze is like kind of unmanageable? There was a salad bar back there.
Yeah, I had to like block my crap so that I could
So
take
your salad
it.
didn't just like waft away.
There was no eating out
It
there.
was
I don't
insane.
imagine how that would have been possible at all.
was
Not on this
insane.
sailing for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so ratings for
ratings for
activities and recreation.
This one's a little
It's
tougher
tough.
for me.
It's tough. It feels wrong because I don't feel like I partook as much
Sure.
in said recreations and activities. Like we could talk about them and we saw them, but we really didn't do many of them.
And part of that was because it was often so busy. Like the time you're most likely to
Touche.
want to experience these things is on your sea days because you're stuck on the boat. You don't have an option. Where on your port days you want to go experience the place that you booked to go.
True.
So
Yes.
that's kind of one of like the downfalls of these
Yes.
mega ships
Yes.
is that when you're on a sea day, while there's plenty of activities to experience,
100%. Yeah.
there's so many people on board. When you have 5,000-6,000 persons,
You really feel it on a sea day.
You really
on
feel
those
it.
mega ships, you really feel it for sure. So
Yep.
what's your rating? One, two, three. All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So how did you rate activities and recreation so low when we didn't participate in it at all?
I think that that's part of it. For me, and this is just probably a default of the mega ship life, it's hard to experience some of the stuff you want to do. Like we had whole plans to play shuffleboard, to play ping pong.
That's true.
Some of these other activities, the water slide lines were long.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate fact that on some of these larger ships, when there's that many, first of all, we were excited about all the ports we were going to.
True.
So
well, Bonaire.
yeah, but we still got off and wanted to check it out.
Sure.
And that was the day that we got to experience a little bit more of the onboard activities. However, I think it's because I didn't get to experience some of this stuff, just because, and it's just because we're line adverse.
We are line
If we were willing
adverse.
to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes to
Right.
participate in some of these, we could have had the opportunity to.
Right. And we did try them on sea days most days. So
Yeah.
that definitely made a difference.
So how about you? I wasn't at a 5.
Well, because I think Serenity Pool is something that
yes.
even with the lines of I never do the water slides. I don't think we've ever done the mini golf, unfortunately, on any of the ships that we've done. So I can't really put those in a category, but because I've definitely enjoyed all of the adults only lounges on any ship we've been on, I felt like that was one I could not enjoy because it was like so uncomfortable, so windy towards the back of the ship, maybe the front of the ship actually, towards the front of the ship, even with all their walls, it just felt like it was so uncomfortable. And that was one of the things I was looking forward to the most was the salad bar. I had big plans for the salad bar and that didn't work out because just the location of it sucked. So that would be what brought my score down.
Okay, good deal.
All right.
All right, we're moving on to the 5th category, service and crew.
Service and crew.
Before we get to the 5th category, if I could just quickly invite you to like and subscribe, we'd surely appreciate it. We're a brand new YouTube channel. Less than a month we've been doing this. And I know you get numb to hearing it, but it really helps us out.
Yes.
If you could take a quick second to at least drop us a like. If any of this content has been helpful to you at all, we have a slew of other videos in the pipeline coming out. Please subscribe. It would mean the world to us.
Thank you.
All right, service and crew.
Service and crew. Okay, so first of all, you got to talk about the cruise director when you talk about service and crew. And I've had a lot of cruise directors that didn't necessarily stick out in my mind, but Leon.
Yeah, Leon Smith.
Leon Smith.
Looked like a scene from HBO that we didn't subscribe for.
He definitely stuck out. He was a top contender for us, as far as I can tell, on all of our different cruises. I definitely appreciated his sense of humor, his camaraderie, his participation.
Yeah. And the cruise director is not only going to be making your morning announcements and leading some of the activities like the hula hoop competition, the Love and Marriage show.
He was so good on that.
A lot of the game shows will be led by your cruise director, so it really matters the personality that you get.
For sure.
And whether or not they have a sense of humor and they can bring the energy that's needed to keep your vacation alive and fun-filled.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. So we loved him. How about cabin steward? That's another big category.
Mate?
Definitely Mate. That was his name, Mate.
Yes.
We had a few Mates on this trip.
Actually, our cabin stewards were great and
so good.
Shout out to them, praise to them for how hard they work.
Yeah.
It seems like they're working from morning to night.
Nonstop. Make sure you tip your stewards, please. And it didn't matter when we left our cabin. They always found the time. We could sleep in, we could come in for a nap. It didn't matter. We always got our room cleaned, and they always found the perfect opportunity to come in there. And I think that takes a lot of paying attention, and I think that's above and beyond of what you really don't think about what goes into that for that level of employee.
100%,
for sure.
Yeah.
And he, bless his heart, he didn't necessarily know our name every time, but he tried, and he definitely communicated with us and asked us how our day was, and every time we saw him, it was definitely a pleasure.
For sure, guaranteed.
Yes.
Moving on from room service, how about
wait staff?
Wait staff, yeah.
Wait staff. So our wait staff was amazing. We had another Mate.
Another Mate.
We had a Jede and a Raul. I believe, if I'm pronouncing them correctly. They were our primary wait staff at the restaurant, and like I said, we definitely ate at the restaurant more on this cruise than we ever have on any other cruise, and they were phenomenal.
Good. Yeah,
they were phenomenal. They were above and beyond. They definitely knew our names every time we walked in. I didn't feel like they had time to check a list or see what it was, but they greeted us by name. They communicated with us well, and I was blown away by their level of appreciation and expertise.
And dedication, for service, for sure. One of the things that's cool about the way we do our dining is we always do my time dining. And one of the things that's nice about my time dining...
We don't do my time dining. My time means you go whenever you want. We do early dining.
We do early dining, pardon. So with early dining, if you're always showing up at the same time, you get an assigned table.
Yeah, you can just walk straight to your table.
You just walk right in, you know which table
is so lovely, yes.
You get the same servers in that same section every single time.
Right.
If you happen to be seated next to other people, you know that you'll always have the same dining company.
That's true. And
we had kind of a table that was off to itself.
Kind of my taste,
That's
to be honest.
Style. Yeah, a little bit.
I don't like to be elbow to elbow with strangers. I could be definitely more social, for sure. But it was nice to have a table that was off by itself, and we had some privacy for that. I liked that.
That was good, yeah.
For sure.
So waitstaff was applause.
Yes.
Cruise director applause.
Yes.
Room attendant was applause.
Yes.
How about bartenders?
Bartenders were amazing. They kind of put on a show all their own, especially at the Alchemy Bar.
Yes.
And then when we went to Tropical Bar, was one of our favorite bars. It was right next to the center stage, but it was always so quiet, as I mentioned earlier. And they knew our names every time we came. That might be a problem, but they definitely greeted us and went above and beyond to chat with us and talk to us about our day and what we did at port and all that stuff. So I loved the bartenders.
The bartenders, especially at Tropical
They're
Bar.
another level of entertainment.
Like you said, that was our home bar.
It was.
And so I got used to walking up, and she would be like, "Hi, Steve. Hi, Dee."
Yep.
They didn't know who we were. They began to become familiar with our orders. Mm-hmm. They knew exactly what you want. It's almost like you want the usual type of thing.
Right.
And then definitely, like you said, what was the other bar? Alchemy Bar.
Alchemy Bar.
For
Those
sure.
are different drinks for sure, but they put on a show.
They do
I felt
do
like a above and beyond. They were kind of comedians. They kind of like played with the crowd.
For
and
sure.
it was different from any of the other bars that we've been at.
For sure. And I always like to order a surprise.
He
I like
is
to
big
let
on
the bartender pick a drink for
Right.
me. Like sometimes I'll tell them what kind of liquor I want in the drink. Like make me a rum surprise or make me a whiskey surprise. And they delivered every time. They would ask me, well, how do you like it? You like sweet drinks, strong drinks? And I would always tell them,
Always sweet.
I like a sweet drink. And they were down for the surprises.
Yeah. I'm not so open to the surprises. I want to
Yeah.
know what the heck I'm getting, for sure. Less open to them.
All right, are we ready
Okay.
to rate service and crew?
Yes, but I think that there's an important fact that we're leaving out on it. But I'm going to wait till we rate it, and then I'll express it.
Okay, fair
right.
enough. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
He is forgetting one single employee, the Pixels guy,
Oh, the Pixels guy.
the photo guy.
That was a pretty bummer, for sure.
Out of all the ships that I've ever been on, I've never had a more aggressive interaction with an employee. And I think obviously he was trying to do his job. The Pixels guy, as you may know, are the guys that go around and take photos. We always have our own little gimbal. We're always taking our own photos. We told him over and over again that we were good. We didn't need it. He went so far, I think he thought he was playing, but he went so far as to say like, nope, you've already been charged. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. And it really set him off, and it made for a very uncomfortable dinner. And we could not get him to leave our table. He thought, I don't know why he chose to continue to stay and dig his heels in. But that definitely was probably the biggest damper on the entire trip
For sure.
in my experience. And I
For
cannot
sure.
believe you blocked it out because he was so irate.
I would. Well,
It was uncomfortable.
we told him after we declined 2, 3, 4
Multiple
times, like, hey, we don't want a picture. He was just like,
Nicely
oh,
and
come on,
nicely, yeah.
just let me take one, this and that. So we let
So
him take
pushy.
a picture of us, and then he asked us for our room number. And then I told him, oh, don't worry about it, we're not going to buy it. He's like, well, you've already been charged $65.
It was
And that's kinda
so
when I lost
silly.
my shit a little bit.
I get it, and I think he thought he was
that's not
playing.
funny.
But even after he got mad, he continued to play, and he continued to kind of like push the buttons. And at a certain point, Steven told him multiple times, like, you need to leave. Like, we're done with this. You need to leave. And I think that was so unprofessional, and it definitely, he is the only reason why my score would be that low on the staff, because everybody else was above and beyond. But out of all the cruises I've ever been on, I have never been, have never had that type of experience before, and he brought the score down for the whole lot.
Yep, totally.
Would you change your score remembering?
Well, in fairness to like the other crew, he was one out of probably 1,500 to 2,000 crew members.
True.
So I don't think I would, but I'm glad that she remembered it and kind of called him out. Some of the salespeople aboard the ship can be just a little bit much, and that was definitely uncalled for.
I've
we were
never had
having
that
a
experience
dinner.
before.
It was a private dinner. We had, like I said, we had an excluded table, and he was just so insistent. And even after I got upset and asked him to leave, he still continued to linger for no reason, because he had already taken the picture. He had already gotten a room number. He had every reason to just move along, and he still continued to stay, almost as if he was getting a little bit of a rise
He was getting a kick
out
out
of my
pissing him off.
uncontentment. Yeah,
For sure.
for sure.
For sure.
No, but for the rest of the crew,
I mean,
5.
yes,
For
I
that
agree.
guy,
One.
a 1.
Bitch.
Hard ass 1.
All right, that makes sense. Very
Okay.
nice.
Overall, final impressions and any last thoughts before we rate the
Well,
cruise as a whole?
No, I would say I think we covered everything, and I definitely would say as we rate this cruise as a whole, I am only comparing it to all of our other Carnival ships specifically.
Ooh, okay, I'll try to do that in my mind.
Yeah, I'm
Just
not
rate it
going to
against
throw in
Carnivals,
anybody
okay.
else, just Carnival, because again, we've been on like 5 Carnival ships.
Sure. Mhm.
So I'm going to stick to Carnival.
Oh, if we're rating it just against Carnival,
Yeah.
I mean, the food,
Right.
the service, the activities.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be easy. Are
Okay.
you ready?
1, 2, 3. Yes,
Yes.
yes. And this seems counterproductive because I definitely gave a couple of lower scores, but overall,
Yeah.
for the experience in general. I think it was my absolute favorite Carnival ship I've ever been on. Most beautiful ship. I will say the decor of Celebration is so different from any of the other, especially small ships, or even Mardi Gras, which is in the same class. And I feel like those, it's its own class. It definitely sets a bar, a new bar for Carnival. And I was blown away. And I thought, despite my few complaints, that it was definitely my favorite Carnival ship, Carnival vacation that I've ever been on.
For sure, yeah. As far as just Carnival goes, that's our first Carnival mega ship. We haven't sailed on Mardi Gras.
No.
So from my typical experiences with Carnival on much smaller ships,
They're
like the
always
Freedom,
small. Sure,
Liberty,
Yeah.
ships like this, in a much, much smaller class.
Right.
While mega ships do have some drawbacks, for instance, not being able to participate in some of the activities unless you're willing to wait a little longer.
Yeah.
Between the entertainment being just top notch, the food just absolutely kicking it out of the park.
Yes.
Yeah, this
best food I've ever had on a Carnival
definitely
ship.
a 5 out of 5 for sure.
Yes, but I will be interested because, and maybe we can find our price point that we paid. I know we paid either as much or more for the drink package on this 8-night cruise as we did for the cruise itself, which is insane. And now we are getting ready to go on another mega ship with MSC. And we paid probably about a third of the price, which is also including the drink package. So I'll be very interested to compare those because we're budget cruisers, definitely.
Cruisers.
We definitely are always looking for the best deal. And this was the most we paid for it. We paid for it for a year out. Almost a year out.
Yeah, this Carnival.
This was the longest we ever waited to go on a cruise, and we made payments on it so that we could afford to actually do this level of cruise. And I will say, I'm excited to go on MSC and see how their mega ship, which can house almost the same amount of people, will compare to Carnival's mega ship that we just were on.
For sure, yeah. So stay tuned for that sailing. That's going to be a 7-night sailing leaving out of Port Canaveral.
Yes.
November 10th. So we're closely creeping up on that.
So fast.
So fast. And then what we want to do is after we sail MSC, that ship, we're going to do a comparison of Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and MSC and see where the best value is for your money, the best bang for your buck in terms of nights on board and then the value that you get delivered. Because from what I remember from MSC, I was a little disappointed in the entertainment.
Yes, but we've done some research, and it looks like they have made some changes to the entertainment.
True. Mm-hmm.
I also have heard tons of complaints about the food, but I do not plan on going as ham on this cruise as I did the last cruise. So salad bars and protein for me, and I think I'll be able to find that. And then some. It's a Mediterranean ship. I think a Mediterranean diet will be easy to accomplish on it. And then it'll be interesting to see the drink package difference, because what did we end up paying for this drink package for the MSC? It was so cheap.
For MSC?
MSC. It was like
$200 each or something like that.
About $400 to $500. That's about what I thought it was.
Silly.
And then on Carnival, I'm pretty sure we paid like $1,800 for it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think our 8-night sailing was about $2,200. So it nearly doubled the cost of our trip.
Yes.
Just to include the drink package.
And Carnival does have a cap of 15 drinks per day, which he met twice, I think.
Maybe twice.
MSC has no cap, but it'll be interesting to see the differences
Fair enough, sure.
on those, especially for the price point. I'm really excited to see those.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Thank you for joining us for our Carnival Celebration review. We hope you like it. Let us know in the comments if you're going to be sailing Celebration anytime soon.
Yes.
And what you think of the ship. Did our 5 out of 5 rating as an overall, did it meet your expectation? Right. Were you disappointed? What were the drawbacks that you saw with the Celebration? And one more time, just if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe, leave a comment in the chat. We love getting comments from our viewers.
Yes.
I look at those first before I look at views or anything else, any other metric. So
yes.
I think that's it. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.